Hey everyone, it's Brandon Schaefer here with another FAQ video. Thank you for sending in your questions. Please send in more so I can keep these videos going and keep helping everyone. So, on to the first question, shall we? How do you remember the titles of all your paintings? Do you title the backs of each piece or do you keep a record of each? Just curious. Thanks. Well, recently I don't remember all the titles of my paintings, and particularly I don't really care about the titles of my paintings unless it's really a very conceptual piece and it's very meaningful. Other than that, I'm not someone that really cares about names or anything. I see them all as individuals, and I don't need to put a name with each one of them. Other artists may feel differently, but I used to log well, here's what you can do. Take a photo of each piece that you do every time you paint it. Take a photo of it, make a folder on your computer, and give it a date and a name, and put the image in there. And that way, at the end of the month, and then you just make monthly folders, and then you'll have a log of each month like that. That's what I used to do my first year of painting. I was really keeping track with it, and then I kind of fell off from it and never looked back, so I don't really keep track of it anymore. You know, the names aren't that important to me until I actually, if it's going into a gallery, or if like I said, if there's a huge concept behind it or a lot of meaning, or if I'm selling it to someone, maybe I'll title it. You know, I kind of want to leave the title up to the person that I'm selling it to. Maybe they have a different idea for what it means to them, you know. Maybe they can choose the name of it. It doesn't really matter to me. Anyway, so it's personal preference, up to you. Hope that helped. Did you learn about color theory and painting in general from books, or did you major in art at university? I've watched all 38 of your painting course videos, almost all your other videos, and I was wondering if one could learn all this on their own, or as college courses the way one gains this much knowledge. Well, I will tell you, the college courses that I went to for art, I didn't even go to college for fine art. I went for graphic design, and they sure did not teach me all that I know. One of the greatest resources you have is books from other artists and other artists' videos, you know, from everywhere. But mostly other art books, you know, acrylic painting, landscape books, etc. Oil painting books. I have books from Kevin McPherson, oil painter. Awesome books, awesome work. But a lot of it is my own experience as well, with just little tips that I give. All this stuff, you know, and sometimes I piece things together that other artists haven't, you know, and I just make videos on it. So I piece everything together. I try to give everyone a greater understanding, and I just have a big archive of all this knowledge up here, that from what I read, from what I've seen. I used to watch Bob Ross all the time. So no, you don't need to go to college, and don't even waste any money on, especially if you're just going to go for painting or for fine art or something, don't waste your money and time. Just keep watching these videos. Look up Bob Ross, Jerry Arnell. Just use YouTube and use the internet. I mean, there's tons of stuff out there for free knowledge you can learn. And the best way to learn is to just keep on painting and go outside and learn on your own. So, hope that helps. I did major in art, but I didn't learn, you know, they didn't teach me. Really, I could have taught a lot of the painting classes better than what I went through, you know. It's a shame. Okay, what is the difference from a studio canvas and a traditional canvas? What type of canvas do you prefer? Well, honestly, I don't even know the difference between a studio and a traditional canvas. I know a gallery canvas is just stapled around the back a little cleaner than a traditional canvas that just staples it on the back. A gallery wrapped canvas. I don't really know never heard a difference between a studio canvas and a traditional canvas. I mean, it could be the kind of canvas that it's made out of, whether it's like you know, some kind of cotton canvas or it's a duck canvas. I don't know. I've mostly been using these cheap panels from this company. And these are just canvas panels. I think they're linen canvas panels. I really would like to make my own panels, but my living space, I don't have a garage or anything. I live in an apartment, so I don't really have the room to make my own panels yet. But eventually I want to just make my own, you know, canvas on wood panels. So no, I don't know the difference. I would just Google it and or just look in the store and see what the difference is. I don't think there's much of a difference. So just do what works for you, whatever works best, you know. Try them both out. You know, I've tried a lot of stuff. Like they have this new stuff I saw recently called like Artboard or something that like the masters used to use. It was too smooth for me. I could not work on that at all. It just felt terrible compared to the tooth of the canvas. Thanks for the question. I just recently started painting and I'm using the Basic brand's paint, the Basics brand. What is the difference between Basic and Golden? Should I use the Golden brand so I don't get used to a cheaper quality paint, or is it a cheaper quality? Actually, from what I found, and I made another video on this, so check that video out about what kind of paints that I use and why. That these two, they're pretty much the same. The only difference I can think of is that there's probably more pigment in this, or less pigment in this, excuse me. More pigment in this and less binder, less product. This has more filler, kind of. Which means the coverage, take a lot more of this than it does this to get the coverage that you would want. Also, I think the reason this is cheaper and the reason this is more expensive, this is made in America, made in the USA, which, you know, if you're in America, that's probably a good thing to support. This one's made in China, so that could be why this one's cheaper for more, etc. So just be aware of things like that. You know, it depends on what kind of consumer you are. Do you really just like supporting the US stuff? Then, you know, go with this one, because there's so much stuff made in China now. It's a shame that we shouldn't have make our own stuff. So that's what's cool about Golden versus the Basics. But they both use the pigment copper phthalocyanine, PB15. Google that, PB15 in the color index. Stands for pigment blue 15. They both use the same thing. I made a whole longer video on that, so check that one out. How does one go about getting prints made of their work? Good question. I'm wondering the same thing. Usually now what people mostly do, you can either print your own, which is kind of pricey if you have to buy a printer and ink and all this stuff and prepare it and ship it. I mean, that's a lot of work. Your prints are probably going to cost somewhat expensive. But what a lot of people do now, you can either go on DeviantArt, you can go to Fine Art USA or Fine Art America or something, Society 6, all these different sites where you can upload pictures of your work and they will print them on demand. So what that means is they don't print like 50 copies and then you have to worry about getting rid of all of them. If someone orders it online, then they'll print it there and ship it, send it, and then you get like, depending on what site it is, 20 to 50% of that sale. It's kind of a bum deal, but you know, if you had your own printer and ink, that's all you're going to really make from it anyway. So, or just go to a local print shop, see what they'll make some prints for you for, and you know, that's really all the alternatives I can think. So hopefully that was helpful. So I thank you guys for all the questions. If you have any more questions, just post them down below or send them to the email that I posted at the beginning of this video. So like and subscribe to these videos if you wish to see more. I'd appreciate it. And keep on painting, don't get discouraged. Thank you for watching. Take care of yourself. Peace, my friends.